Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. Hey everyone, thanks for being tuned in to KPOV 88.9 FM, your high desert community radio in Bend, Oregon. I hope you're having a good day. This is Stacey Dredd, Galactic Ambassador in the Cosmic Community. That's our astrology program here Tuesdays 4:30 to 5 p.m., where we discuss the week's planetary and lunar influences, how the energies may be felt in our day-to-day, and also discuss how we may be able to live within the cycles of the universe to create a more benevolent life for all. So thank you so much for making time and space in your day-to-day to receive these messages. If you need to hear this program again, you can access that kpov.org, the Cosmic Community Show page. You can access the most recent archive. Also follow me on YouTube and Facebook if you'd like to receive all the updates there, the Cosmic Community Astrology, and also a rebroadcast of this program Saturday at 9 a.m. So it is now officially the whole month of April. I had a really nice time last week doing a full monthly breakdown on the cusp of March and April, but we are well beyond that threshold now. But if you are interested in that monthly breakdown, you can listen to that all the way up until midnight tonight when this show hits my archive on the kpov.org site. So April has a lot of forward-moving energy in the start, but also towards the end has a pretty major slowdown. So at this point, we are looking at a couple of planets going retrograde toward the second half of April, and so the energy is starting to slow down a little bit because of a impending Mercury retrograde, and then Pluto actually going to go retrograde on the first day of May. So we are well into it. We had just yesterday. I'm bringing this program to you on April 4th on the Pacific coast of the United States. So all of the times that I use are going to be for here. If you live somewhere else on the planet, you'll have to adjust your times if you like to know the exact times when everything happens. But on April 3rd, we had the planet of Mercury enter Taurus. Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac. Taurus is very much a more fixed energy. This is a fixed earth sign, and so that is a more stable energy. Can be definitely feel a little more like our feet are in the mud, just a little bit more too. With Taurus energy, it can be hard to take steps because Taurus does not like to change. Taurus does not like too much forward movement, and Taurus does not really enjoy doing anything out of the ordinary. So that's a little extra change that we are still feeling out. Mercury being the planet of our mind. Mercury represents our mind, our mental state, our mental capacity, the way that our mind works, also communication. Mercury, very much the planet of conversing and interaction, words, communicating, talking, also text, anything that is like with words. Mercury is the messenger of the gods traditionally. And so this is where when Mercury stations to go retrograde here in the sign of Taurus, which we'll dive into a little bit more because this is, something we're just preparing for. But with the movement there on April 3rd of Mercury into the sign of Taurus, it's like a preparation, right? It's like, okay, I'm here. I know that I'm going to be like doing some work here. And so I'm arriving. I'm like taking my jacket off and like saying hello to everybody in the room and like making myself comfortable because Mercury is going to be hanging out in the sign of Taurus for a little extra time. The retrograde is 3 weeks. And then, of course, there's the buildup and the come down off of that. So we're looking at probably close to five weeks of Mercury or more of Mercury in Taurus. I haven't actually looked at oh, you know what? I printed out a brand new little retrograde calendar for 2023. I didn't need it for those first few months because we had all the planets moving direct. But now I do need this. So we are going to be, let's see, the end of April, the last week and a half of April into the third week of May. So yeah, we're looking at a good 4 or 5 weeks of Mercury in this retrograde cycle, and then a little bit of time in and out of that. So it's a long time for a planet of Mercury. Quick moving planet is used to just getting in and out of these different signs and just moving forward and giving us fresh energy. Well, this one's going to be a little extendo. And so we're starting to feel the work that Mercury is going to be doing in Taurus. Like I said, Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac. This is very much a nurturing energy. Taurus is a provider. Taurus is a stable, fixed provider who you can depend on, who's very much dedicated to being that provider. Look around, all the people in your life who are Taurus individuals or have strong Taurus energy in their birth chart. These are the people who are like your really solid, stable friends who are like always there for you. I might have a few of those in my life. So I have a little bit of experience with like really great, strong, stable Taurus friends. Also, they're providers. They invite you over for dinner. When you come over to their house, they ask you if you want any coffee or if you need a snack because they recently probably made some delicious food or some fresh coffee. Taurus is ruled by the planet of Venus, and Venus is the lover of all pleasurable things. And so Taurus is about the pleasurable things also. So Mercury is, our communication, our mind. We're thinking, we're communicating a little bit more about these Taurus themes, about things, Taurus-themed things that we may need to look at a little bit closely. Hence, the retrograde cycle will be coming back and redoing and refiguring and rearranging in the sign of Taurus for sure here. So the big day of the week, though, this week, second week, or I guess first full week of April, is this Libra full moon on the 5th of April here on the West Coast. I touched a little bit on this last week in the monthly breakdown, but this one has a few components to it. So I want to take a little bit of time and really get into this. Libra is an energy that is really close to home for me. I'm a Libra. My ascending sign, why can't I think of it? You have your sun sign, your moon sign, and your the rising sign. Oh my goodness. So I am a Libra rising. And that means simply that Libra, when it's your rising sign or any, your rising sign, it's kind of like what people like see you for out in the world. There's like, it's kind of like your rising sign is like, how people really see you for this thing, and you are very good at showing this to other people. Other people can really like see that in you and in your character, your rising sign. Your sun is very much, your sun sign is very much like kind of that basic filter through which you view the world, through which we see the world, and through which the world is illuminated for us is our sun sign. And then the moon, our moon sign, where the moon was, which zodiac sign the moon was in when we were born, our moon sign is then our more intimate personality, the person who we are on a more intimate level, like sort of more in behind closed doors, is really that the moon sign and what that is. So that just kind of came out, a little extra, little dose of good stuff there for you when you go through your birth chart, or when you're looking at other people's birth charts, just little clues about what everything kind of means there. And so Libra is the sign of relationships. Libra is the sign of balance and harmony. Libra is represented by the scales of justice, all the little, mascots, I guess you could call them, of the zodiac signs. Libra's a little boring. It has an inanimate object, the scales, as a mascot. But really, imagine the Libra people in your life with those scales in their hand. I mean, that's what they're doing all day, every day, is balancing and harmonizing and creating balance and harmony in relationships. And so this big full moon that we have this week is very much going to be highlighting relationships, harmony, balance, finding this balance. And full moons are always about a big expression within these themes too. 444, 444, 444. This is Stacey Dredd, your galactic ambassador here in the cosmic community, talking all things astrology. Fours are my number here on my 4 actual different clocks. Of course, I have 4 clocks in here. They all say 4s on them all at the same time. And then also it is April 4th today. So I thought that was pretty special that I had a 4/4 show. So wow, the 4s on my computers they're jumping out of the screens here. So that's just my favorite number. It's my life path number. And it just shows me that I am in the exact right place that I need to be in the universe right now. So getting back to the full moon, because there are a lot of aspects to this. I want to hit on it all. I'm looking at the chart here. If you'd like to see the actual planetary lunar chart, you can go to astro-seek.com. There are thousands of places to look for charts, but this is the one that I'm staring at right now. So if you want to look at the full moon chart for April 6th, that is when the moon and the sun are directly opposite each other in the chart. And so the moon is in Libra at 16 degrees and the sun across the zodiac in Aries at 16 degrees. So the sun and the moon creating an opposition. That is what the full moon is. And it's also the big point of culmination for the month. Around the new moons, we set our new intentions. We plant the seeds for that next lunar cycle. And then when the full moons come around, this is the time when we see the culmination points for these new things that we started. So we should start seeing some fruition from some of those seeds that we planted a couple of weeks ago. That was right there on the equinox. That Aries new moon was, wow, what a punch into the new year. And so these new beginnings, that we have been diving into, we should start seeing some fruition from that here at this full moon in Libra. This one finds the sun in a conjunction pretty much exact with Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron shows us where we are wounded, but also these wounds, when we can, quote unquote, deal with them, then become our superpower also. So Chiron is showing us our wounds that maybe these are wounds that may never heal in our life. These are sort of changing points, to our body, to our mind, to our physical, spiritual, mental, emotional state in our life, because things happen to us in our lives. Some of them can be a little damaging. Some of them are less damaging. And this Chiron shows us those really damaging parts, in our history, in ourselves. Anything that we haven't scooped out and worked with, is really, really highlighted when we have these conjunctions with Chiron. So this is a tender moment Excuse me. I have a little dry throat. This is a sensitive Chiron. This full moon is going to be touching on this. This is like kind of like shining a big spotlight on your open wound. Like normally we like to keep our wounds kind of covered up and away so that, we don't walk into a room and like freak everybody out or whatever with our wound. We keep them covered. Also, when they're open, they're vulnerable, right? Like wounds, when they are open, they are vulnerable to bacteria in the environment. They're vulnerable to other things brushing up against these like really painful wounds or whatever, right? And so we keep them covered for different reasons. There's reasons why we don't just go out into the world with our wounds out in the open, because we want to make sure that we're working with these in appropriate ways, and then maybe the rest of the time allowing them to be covered and allowing them to be healing, because when you cover them, a lot of times, wounds need fresh air, but they also need to be covered in order to start to heal up a bit on their own. And so, I don't know, whatever this is bringing up for you is totally perfect and is totally right. I really wanted to see, let me see if I have a planetary sound for our, for Chiron. Let me just see here. Do I have it? Oh, I don't actually have one for Chiron, but I do have one for the sun. I want us to have a short meditation on this NASA audio. Caught the frequencies of emitted by the sun and created an audio clip out of it. I think it'd be a really good time to tune in with the sun's energy and prepare for this big full moon, which is actually happening pretty much overnight while we sleep. I think. Let me see. It's exact. 9:30 tomorrow night. So we are very much in preparation for this energy here. That was an audio clip caught by NASA and prepared by them of the audio frequencies that are emitted off of the sun, created into an MP3 there. Thank you very much for creating those. I actually have a bunch more. I was thanking NASA for creating those. Thank you, NASA. I actually have found a whole bunch more of those that I have yet to just like get good downloads of it and bring in here. But I love tuning in with those deep frequencies. I mean, after all, everything is just vibration and frequency, and so we really need to be, tuning in with all of that the most that we can. Okay, so yeah, that is the full moon. There are of course other aspects to this. But the most important part, I think, is really realizing that we have Chiron involved. It could feel a little salty, if you're wearing your wounds, out there, that there's salt out in the world, so just be aware that, that could be part of the case, and to know that it's a passing energy and that all these things come up so that we can make them better, in moving into the future. So I love Chiron energy because Chiron is truly where we become our own superhero too. So we can step up and over the top of anything like that, with strong mental power. So that's my little pep talk for you. Moving into the weekend though, it's not as many planetary aspects, I suppose, but lots of lunar movement. I mean, the moon is making an opposition with Jupiter right before moving into the sign of Scorpio on Thursday. And so a hot little ticket moment for kind of a last chance summer dance with this full moon. This energy is going to be very much available into the whole day on Thursday the 6th. Yeah, I mean, kind of looking into next week, we've got a little bit of new energy arising as Venus moves into the next sign, the next zodiac sign. And she's going to be moving out of her home sign of Taurus, taking off the slinky little lace, comfy, satiny nightgown that she loves to wear, and she got to put her rain jacket and her windbreaker back on to go out into the sign of Gemini. But it's a really good push for her, and the Libra full moon is almost triggering her to do that. You know, hey, it's been great. It's been comfortable. Home base is always a great place to be, but it is time to, you know, get the galoshes back on and get back out into the world. So next week, as far as feminine energy goes, as far as like you know, this is also relationship energy, Venus, and also money. This is like money flow. She represents money. You know, we could be stepping into some new financial territory, you know, next week also. Just anything dealing with money, love, relationships, you know, that's all going to be shifting, looking into next week. Also, but yeah, enjoy the big full moon. We do have another new moon in Aries in 2 weeks, and I mentioned this in the April monthly breakdown. If you want to hear about that, you can always check out last week's archive. But the new moon in Aries is our first eclipse of this eclipse season too. So this full moon is pushing us into eclipse season. Oh my goodness. Eclipses are huge energies for the year. We get 2 eclipse seasons a year. This one is a second new moon in Aries, which is just going to be really interesting and fun because Aries energy is all about new things and just having a good time and taking that first step, you know, being a leader in your own life. So we have so many great opportunities right now to take steps forward. Do it now, because we are looking at the retrograde cycles coming up and the eclipses. So whatever hasn't been changed and shifted by you already during the direct phase will be changed and shifted for you by the universe during the retrograde and eclipse cycles. So I always like to kind of take the first step first, but everybody's different and works with these energies in different ways. So do enjoy. And I will talk to you next week when I'm back here in the Cosmic Community, Tuesday at 4:30. This has been Stacey Dredd, your Galactic Ambassador. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.